Have you ever had something you ended up just adoring and obsessing over, where you just didn't really care about its flaws or what others said about it? Now what if that thing was a certain character, or characters in this case? The Daycare Attendant is that for me and many others in the FNAF community. If you have played or watched someone play Security Breach, you're most likely aware of the Daycare Attendant. They are stationed in the Superstar Daycare at the Mega Pizzaplex, and they were introduced in the game Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. They are celestial and gesture-themed animatronic who is composed into 3 separate personalities with interesting relationships and game mechanics. The animatronics design and personality shift depending on if the lights are on, off, or if they had a Faz wrench manually activate their 3rd personality. I want to take a good look at why this complex animatronic has won many hearts in the FNAF community. Alright, so first thing, let's take a look at the animatronics design. Sun and Moon share the same body, with it being thin and around 5 feet 9 inches, or 175 centimeters tall. Their face is really creepy looking, lacking pupils and it being crescent moon surrounding a sun. Most people could overlook the fact that their eyes are pupilless, but they sport a creepily wide static grin with human-like teeth. I couldn't look at them in the face if they were a real-life animatronic. Just looking at them makes my personal space feel invaded. They also have gesture-like shoes with stars and moons on them, and they are adorned with a bell at the tip. They also have cute wrist ribbons with bells. Enough of the similarities though. Let's get into the meat of their differences. Sun has flares jutting out from his face which can retract back into his head. He lacks eye color and his face being a pale and dark yellow. His color palette is yellow and red with the pants having a striped pattern. Moon, meanwhile, lacks the flares, instead having a stereotypical nightcap with a bell at the end. His pants and nightcap are adorned with a star pattern, with blue being the base color. Unlike Sun, Moon has more color on his torso, it being a gradient from blue to gray, and his face having a crescent moon in gray, while the Sun is a deep navy. The eyes have a pupil with a spooky red glow. These two play into the gesture theme with the bells, ribbons, and shoes, being a very stereotypical gesture thing. Their extravagant pants is an interesting choice though, as gestures are usually shown to be wearing tights. I do like this though, however. It's more visually interesting, and looks less silly. They also complement each other visually with having mainly warm and cool color palettes. Now we have taken a good look at their design, let's look at what makes them truly shine, their personalities. Let's start with who we meet first, the Sun. Sun is very high energy and extremely anxious. His in-game animation is extremely eccentric, and the guy literally high dives into a ball pit and circles around you with his arms wiggling like that one Squidward gif. The dude just is ADHD incarnate and cannot stop moving or talking. He literally snatches Gregory from the ball pit before asking if you're having fun. And 2 seconds later, he plops you into the middle of the daycare, and then proceeds to list off activities while wiggling around the room. It's very in-your-face first impression. He screams like Santa with ho 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 before diving into a ball pit before grabbing you. I watch many YouTubers panic and try to crawl back up the slide once Sun is hiding in the sea of balls. Sun is pretty childish in its demeanor. In-game we can find some artwork that Sun has created, and it looks like it was made by a kindergartner. Also, once you're thrown out of the daycare, all the entrances have banned written in big red letters with an accompanying angry face. Literal child behavior. It's amazing. I can just imagine this guy having the time of his life taking care of kids and doing arts and crafts for fun on his own time. His dialogue establishes that he's super hyper and loud, but yet we see an anxious undertone that increases as we're in the daycare longer. He establishes that the lights must stay on, and he'll circle Gregory, trying to keep him from leaving the area. Once Gregory makes it behind the counter, Sun starts suggesting fun activities for him and Gregory to do. Anything to keep the child's grabby hands away from the security badge. Here we truly see that Sun is just a complete nervous wreck. His priority isn't childcare, it's keeping the Moon at bay. Now let's take a look at the daycare attendant's other half, the one who makes the daycare truly terrifying, the Moon. The Moon is a creepy guy who just can't stop chuckling and stalks the character. However, he does it without a flair, form of being apparently a cryptid gymnast. The guy literally crawls up and down the play structures and flies around like Peter Pan. And then he backflips into this weird crouch shuffle. He certainly plays more into the gesture themes of the duo. However, they lack the entertainment that Sun provides. I do enjoy watching how smooth his movement animations are. His idle animation has him bouncing back and forth between feet with his arms outstretched. It's very fun to watch. But this guy is a monkey and we just see him climbing up and down walls and hanging in strange places. Look at him go. The anxiety and loud aspects are nowhere to be found on Moon. He acts sadistic in his dialogue with comments about kids being naughty and needing to be punished for staying up too late. He does seem to enjoy his job though, because my man's chuckling nonstop, like a certain battery-stealing gremlin. Moon does have less personality shown via his voice lines, but I do think his eccentric animations more than make up for it. I don't blame people for not noticing, because usually you're just running to find a recharge station instead of, watching him monkey around. Alright, so now that we have a grasp of what these two characters are like and what they do, let's go more into detail about how they function gameplay-wise. This section will be more Moon heavy due to the fact that Sun is just literally contained to the daycare and you cannot go down the slide. Sun's role is to be an obstacle for Gregory to avoid while he aims to get the security badge from behind the counter. This is done by knocking over some cylinders where Sun panics and just gets distracted and needs to clean up the mess. Once Gregory grabs the security badge, we see Sun only one more time, because that's when he'll throw Gregory out of the daycare and slam the door shut. Moon is an interesting case, as he does hourly patrols once the lights go out inside the Pizzaplex. You are given 5 minutes to find a recharge station while avoiding the Moon. I find this part more tedious than fun or scary. I really wish Moon would just be more as a threat during these sections. I usually just sit in Freddy and watch Jester Boy do his backflips before I make my way to a recharge station. Also, apparently he likes to, kidnap robotic bears. During the start of the parts and service section, you take an elevator down from the main stage to parts and service. Moon will pop up and wave at you, and once the elevator stops, Gregory and Freddy have to run to the nearest recharge station. He is out, however, polite enough to give Gregory a wave when he's in the recharge station. I love this just because Freddy looks like a rag doll on the floor and Moog waving twice. He's like, oh hey, don't mind me, I'm just gonna steal this robotic bear real quick. Alright, so that is all of the gameplay that Sun and Moon provide. So let's shift our focus to the third personality mentioned earlier, Eclipse. Eclipse is a mix between Sun and Moon and functions very differently from the two. Partly because he was introduced in the Ruin DLC, and that gameplay is much more linear and just very much less open world. Eclipse is very visually striking as they are a mishmash of Sun and Moon's designs. His color palette is a mix between the two, with some added gray from the exposed endoskeleton parts. The fabric and torso pieces are a mishmash of their colors, and he is also missing his right leg. His face is completely cracked open, displaying for some weird reason another row of endoskeleton teeth. Like, why do you have another row of endoskeleton teeth? Are you trying to upstage with her, Chica? They also have some of Sun's flares jutting out, while also wearing Moon's nightcap. Finally, their eye LEDs are broken, showing yellow and red glows from beneath. We don't actually shatter the Daycare Attendant in Security Breach. At least they aren't almost completely dysfunctional like the Glamrocks. Poor Monty. Dude just got turned into a rabid dog ankle biter. Alright, so for the gameplay portion of Ruin for the daycare, we first stumble upon Sun malfunctioning, and he just begs us to reboot him with the Faz wrench in order for him to, quote, be whole. We aren't given the chance yet as Moon tries to grab us, and then Sun switches back and lets us know we have to turn the generators on to stun Moon so he can reboot him. And then apparently he just flies away and lands on one of the plate structures. During Security Breach, Moon is seen using a cable to fly around. However, apparently the animatronic can just literally straight up fly now. Like, you can see, there's no cable. You can see in the trailer, the cable's gone. I don't know why. I really honestly hate how they didn't add the cable because it looks dumb. I really want to know why they made that change. What we do learn though, is that it's really painful for the personalities to switch. This is shown by not only Sun screaming and tearing at his mask in the main game when he falls off the counter, but also Moon seeing the light causing the gears to grind in their head, and that it really hurts. This makes me feel really bad every time we turn on the generator. They just sit in the middle and Moon screams in pain, and Sun sings a song in despair. He sings about how it's nap time and that playtime is over, how the googly eyes just stare, air dry clay is crumbled and dried out, tempera paint and glues are all spilled, there's no crafts, and he wants you to go away. as the sun's purpose is gone. Shattering the glam rocks made me quite sad, as especially Roxy, because she just has a complete mental break and is crying and in complete panic that her eyes and her mane and tail are ruined. But this really hit hard when I played through, and that song made me want to cry first time I heard it. We literally see how them being isolated from children in a dirty, broken environment has caused them to go emotionally haywire, and their systems also are completely shot and malfunctioning. Once we turn on all the generators and Cassie plugs her Faz wrench into the back of their head, we get to meet the third personality, Eclipse. Visually they do not change, as it's just a personality change, but truly, as Sun said, it seems like they have become whole. Eclipse was first teased into the Balloon World arcade cabinet. You have to find these purple glitches and follow the purple path till the end. Then you will see a creepy looking sun, smiling, with its eyes faintly glowing red and its face shadowed. I really don't like this thing. I'd say that most of the fandom thought that Eclipse would be bigger and badder than ever, and be even more than a threat than the moon was. However, I was surprised that this wasn't the case. Instead, Eclipse is a total sweetheart who isn't anxious or harassing children to go to sleep. They are just in complete zen. Basically, Sun and Moon's negative traits cancel each other out, and we are left with someone who is at peace to their core. Eclipse right away greets Cassie with a cheerful, "Happy birthday!" before picking her up and immediately taking the caretaker role. No priorities of lights staying on or taking your nap appear. Just that Eclipse wants to make sure Cassie is away from the chaos. We sadly only see him for about a minute before he plops us outside the daycare and shuts the doors. That's all we see in-game for the daycare attendant. Despite their lack of in-game time, this animatronic has gotten quite a lot of fans. Lots of comics, animation, and fan art has been created of them. I even made a 3D figure of Sun and Moon for my studio art class assignment. This was made in May of 2022, and I am still extremely proud of it. So it is a wire armature with polymer clay that's baked, painted with acrylic paint. The base is a block of insulation foam, and the cloud is insulation foam with cotton balls Mod Podged on. I absolutely love this thing. Just something I wanted to share. I do believe a big part of the draw is that they have fully fleshed out personalities. Five Nights at Freddy's really lacked concrete personalities for the animatronics until Sister Location, as that was when voice acting was introduced. Animatronics from the older games were given some personality via voice lines in Ultimate Custom Night, FNAF AR, and the cut song in Hope Wanted. However, these are nothing compared to Security Breach. Half the animatronics have fully fleshed out personalities. Obviously, Glamrock Freddy has the most due to him helping us out in-game and having the voice lines. Roxy got more development in Security Breach than Monty and Chica got more in Ruin. And sadly, Chica and Monty really have lacked a lot of personality. It's really unfortunate, because I'm a big fan of the trashing chicken and the gator who needs to go to anger management. The daycare attendant luckily got a lot of personality packed into his limited in-game time. Fans took charge and began to fill in gaps that were left. A lot of fans pushed the idea that Moon may have just actually been mischievous or really calm, like has shown in the in-game marketing and merchandise. But because of the glitch trap virus, he got turned evil. We did see that maybe Moon wasn't so bad, and this was because Cassie saying that, quote, "She'd never slept better than I did in the daycare," when we look at the description of the Moon AR plushie that we can find in Ruin. I wonder if Steel Wool saw what the fans were doing and decided to make it canon. So for Eclipse, they're practically a blank slate, except for their face, staring right into your soul at the end of Balloon World. A common idea was that Eclipse would be bigger and badder than Moon was. The idea that Eclipse was crueler than Moon didn't appear though. Instead, Eclipse is a sweetheart and balances out Sun and Moon instead of making the worse. Many theorize that they are a security protocol for intruders. Many creative ideas have happened due to the fanbase adoring these two, with Eclipse also getting a lot of love. I also think that the daycare attendant in general gives a lot of "I can fix him" appeal for many fans. I'll be completely honest, I am a complete sucker for characters that are edgy, extremely traumatized, or clearly just need a good hug. Due to all of what I just presented, it was clear to Steel Wool that the daycare attendant was a big hit, and they got a lot of love. So much love that we see an in real life Eclipse animatronic at the FNAF booth for the PAX convention. You can probably hear it in my voice. I was a complete mess when I saw it. I was getting ready for work, and I completely lost my marbles in excitement showing my friends and my boyfriend. I really hope this means Eclipse will be coming back in Help Wanted 2, which is supposed to release in late 2023. I want them back. They deserve all the love.
Right, who jump scared me?
So the animatronic and a lot of props for the PAX event were built by DaregularSauce, who also made the fantastic Glamrock Freddy and FNAF 1 cosplay. I'm going to leave their Twitter and YouTube in the description. Please check them out. They are an amazing artist. Alright, so the Daycare Attendant has successfully wiggled in being an S-tier FNAF character for me personally, and much of the FNAF community. They are literally friend-shaped, and it's so goofy it's impossible not to love them. So to answer the question, why does everyone love the Daycare Attendant? It's a mix between their pleasing visuals, horror elements, split personality, and them being goofy little fellows who can be extremely loud, anxious, or mischievous and a cryptid at the drop of a hat. This meets the end of the video. Thank you so much for everyone for watching. This is my first fully edited YouTube video. I used to make animation but stopped due to school, and honestly I got stressed out trying to put out animations and I ended up being burned out. I did want to give a shout out to my boyfriend, my best friend, and my brother Sam. They all make amazing content, especially my boyfriend, because I love his editing style. I'll be leaving their channel links in the description. I hope everyone has a nice day. Bye bye.